Hi there, my name is Debbie Stevens, and I'm the director of the CLL program at the University of North Carolina, and I'm very honored to be joined by Dr. Jennifer Woyach today, who is the section head of CLL and the co-director of the Leukemia Research Program at The Ohio State University. Welcome.
Good morning, Debbie.
I'm really excited today to talk about a clinical trial that we actually worked on together. It's a phase 1 study of a new drug called LP168. And I'm really excited because I think this is something patients should know about. And so I'd love to ask a few questions to introduce this concept to patients. So tell me about the study and the drug that's being tested.
So LP168 is a novel inhibitor of BTK, as you mentioned. And what's really unique about this drug is it actually has the ability to bind covalently to BTK. So that is the same manner as ibrutinib, acalabrutinib, and zanubrutinib. However, if BTK is mutated such that covalent binding by those drugs doesn't work, it also has the ability to bind reversibly to BTK in a similar way as drugs like pirtobrutinib and nemtabrutinib do. So in that way, it can work against a variety of different mutations in BTK. So we presented a phase 1 clinical trial of this drug where we looked at escalating doses to try to find the best dose of this drug to move forward. It also is a very selective inhibitor of BTK, and as we expected, it was very well tolerated in this trial.
That's great. And so you mentioned the binding is what makes it different from drugs like ibrutinib, acalabrutinib, and zanubrutinib. And it's also similar but different to the binding seen in pirtobrutinib. Why is this important for patients with CLL?
Well, I think we're learning more and more about why people at some point stop responding to all of these BTK inhibitors, really. And for the most part, it's because people develop resistance mutations. And so having new inhibitors of BTK that you can potentially use after other ones stop working just gives us another weapon in our armamentarium that we can use against resistant CLL. And actually, in this study, we had a number of patients who had mutations that would make them not respond to pirtobrutinib, and they actually responded to this drug, which is really exciting. And also, just because of the way that it binds with that covalent manner too, you could even envision that this might be a good drug to use even in an earlier setting.
That's great news for patients, especially folks who have had multiple treatments and don't have current drugs that work for them. What kind of side effects have you been seeing with this drug?
So again, because it's so selective, we don't see a lot of the side effects that we kind of associate with some of the less selective BTK inhibitors. We see a little bit of bruising. We saw just a few patients who had more than a little bit of bruising. We have not seen a lot of toxicity to the GI tract, like things like diarrhea or nausea. We've seen a couple of patients have a few patients had hypertension, but not as many as we have seen with some of the less selective inhibitors of BTK.
So that's great. Sounds like a really effective drug and pretty limited side effects. Could patients still participate in this clinical trial, or what opportunities would patients have to receive this drug?
Yeah, so this particular dose escalation is almost closed, except for we're enrolling a few more patients that have mutations in their CLL cells that make them resistant to pirtobrutinib specifically. There's going to be the opportunity, though, hopefully to participate in the larger studies with this drug, which are currently in development.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for your information and providing information to patients today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.